What's up, guys? Sean here from Srkcycles.com. We have a beautiful day today, and I'm riding this 2014 Victory Vision. The Nike swoosh had a baby with a Harley, and this is what happened. Guys, let's start off the day the way we should, with the words of wisdom. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. You may be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. That is comforting. Let's get back to the bike. First of all, everyone has the same story about this bike. Everyone who rides one has the exact same story. They're like, when I first saw it, I hated it, I wanted to shoot myself in the face, and then I took one for a spin and I fell in love. And I feel the same way. When I first saw it, I was like, what the heck is that? That's so goofy. And people talk about visions, and I'm like, no. Or people talk about victories, I'm like, no, not that goofy one. Not that goofy Victory Vision. But, and then I rode one. I rode the Ice Dragon, and now I'm riding this one, and I just fell in love. I was like, holy cow, this is so comfortable. You know what would make this bike better if it had a backrest? It's got the option for one. But if this specific bike had a backrest, that would be amazing. And I feel like I could ride this bike just my whole life. I could just hop on this thing and just cruise forever. Left turn. The handling. First of all, this bike is ginormous. Look at it. It's huge. I'm all about it. It's like I'm driving a Miata with two wheels. Until you roll up next to a Miata, and then you realize it's way bigger than a Miata. I love the gear indicator. I like driving big bikes. I don't know why. Just, you know, it's nice that I like to pull up next to a little like Z3 and be like, if I ran into you, you'd be in trouble. You know, something about that kind of seems cool. So first of all, it's huge. The front end's like 12 feet wide. The visibility's awesome. I mean, those rearview mirrors are bigger than the ones on my truck. I can see everything behind me. It is, it's great. It does have the electronically moving up and down windshield, which has a pretty big range. Which I don't know why, like Harley Davidson. Does Harley Davidson have electronically moving windshield?
No.
Yeah, they never did it. It's a great idea though. So let's talk about the engine. This has the 106 cubic inch engine. Everyone loves this engine. Actually, this bike, interesting enough, when this bike first came out, it came out as a concept bike for Victory. They were going to put an 800cc motor in it, and it was going to be automatic. And then they changed their mind. They put like a 1700cc, the 107, 106 in it, and they made it a regular bike. It has not changed since. When it came out in 2008, it really hasn't changed since. And that's kind of just how the touring bikes are. They don't really change very much. If it kind of works, they're like, yeah, we'll just keep it the same way. We know that from Harley, and we know that from Honda and Kawasaki and everybody, and Yamaha and Suzuki. So the 106 is a great motor. It's got plenty of power. This thing weighs in over at 900 pounds. Let's see if the girl can pick this bike up. Weighs in over 900 pounds, and it's pushing out like 94 horsepower. Which, you know, it feels peppy, but it really just takes these corners. Like I don't know if even the wing. I'm sure the wing can. I'm sure the wing can handle at these kind of speeds. But the thing about it is the wing is a little more on the sports side. It has pegs. It doesn't have floorboards. It's a different ergonomics in the way you sit. That's gotta mean something. All right, let's talk about the transmission. It's very precise. If you wanted to, you could do upshifts without the clutch. Just throw it up in there, pops it nice and smooth. Like I said before, when you shift these things, it's like a hammer. It's like chung, chung, chung. You know exactly when you're in gear. It's a very smooth feeling, precise. It's not like clunky like like some of the Suzuki transmissions on their big cruiser bikes are. Not sure how Suzuki screwed that one up, but who knows? I got little crib notes down here. Not so. So after riding these things, I fell in love. You would think it'd be a little hard to get used to, like the handlebars being not up here but bent down, you know, past the forks. You don't. It just feels natural. You just hop on it. This bike legit has a center console. Look at this. This is where your radio controls are. That's where your mode buttons are. There's also giant pockets. Look, this is where you can plug in your iPhone. In 2014, I don't think they even had that iPhone. I think they had the lightning wire anyway. I don't know why that would be in the bike, but you could always get a converter for it. But yeah, the way this thing's set up with the ergonomics, this thing just wants to lay down. This would be a killer bike to take to the Dragon Trail. No, Dragon Tail, not Trail. I wouldn't take this off-road if I were you. It's probably not a good idea. Up here, I'll let loose and show this thing, talk a little bit about the performance. Like all the Victories, you do have these little, these are the controls for the radio. They kind of look like they're just like, yeah, let's throw them on there, but I get it. I get it. You know, because they want to use the same parts for all the bikes. It keeps costs down, which they were fairly inexpensive. And then to put the add-ons, they just, you know, bolt that on the bottom of it. That's cool. I got no problems with it. I like to think that this is the bike that broke Victory. Because they were actually trying something new. They made a bike that didn't, they made a cruiser bike. An American company made a cruiser bike that didn't absolutely resemble a Harley Davidson. Now the problem is, it didn't resemble a motorcycle. The bigger problem is, it didn't resemble anything in this time era. You know, it looked like something that came out of like a futuristic movie, but they got it wrong, you know? Like some movie from the 80s that were like, in 2010, all the cars are gonna look like this, but then they didn't. That's kind of what this bike looks like. But then when you ride it, now I said this before, and all these Harley guys got on my back about it. And this bike, it's got lines, it's got curves, it's got flow. Turning here, I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna show these guys how we do it. This bike's got curves, it's got some flow. Harleys don't have that. I'm not bashing Harley, I'm just saying it's a fact. Harleys don't have lines that flow. Let's compare this, and it's not a bad thing, it's just that's what they chose to do. In many ways, everyone would say that's a bad thing for Victory because this bike is crazy looking. But I'm not kidding. I love this bike. If I had to take a big trip and it was just a regular electric glide classic or this, I would take this. Now if it was an ultra limited, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, that'd be a tough one. But just something about this bike, and once you realize how much you love riding it, you just get used to the looks. It's like when you rent a house and you convince your wife that you're like, there's no way I'm painting any room in this house because painting is the worst. And then eventually she just gets used to like that 1970s wallpaper because she likes the house and she likes the neighborhood. This is exactly that. You get used to the way it looks. I think it's kind of cool now. Because it's so big. I like the idea that people are like, yo, you ride that thing, I'm like, yeah, it's easy. Because I'm a grown man. and it really moves. I mean, 94 horsepower is pretty good for a 900-pound vehicle. It's way more than, it's for power to weight ratio, it's better than your car probably. It's definitely better than Caleb's car. Alright guys, that wraps up the test drive for the 2014 Victory Vision. I really do. I think this bike is awesome. It's got cruise control. It's got all this cool stuff. But it doesn't have like tons of crazy tech stuff that people like need to read a manual to do. You just kind of hop on. It all kind of flows. It all kind of makes sense. 7,300 miles. What the? Alright guys, that wraps up the test drive. We will see you guys later. Remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going.